Competition guns are awesome. They're big, they're heavy, they're sexy, and they shoot well. Compact guns are short, stubby, and not as fun to shoot. But I think SIG Sauer has solved that problem. In this video, I go over the SIG Sauer P365 X Macro. Welcome back everyone. This is going to be the first of my series of guns I'm going to start to review. Now what I have with us today is the P365 X Macro, and this review is going to be something you want to get close in on. I want to give a shout out to David over at the Humble Marksman channel, as he was gracious enough to collaborate with me on this project and also share this gun with me, but also some time at the range to really get an in-depth review from my perspective. So do make sure that you stop by his channel and check out his review as well on this. Now with that said, I looked forward to this review largely because I shoot a P365 XL as my daily carry. I love this gun for the reasons it was meant for. It carries well, it shoots well, it does everything I need, and should anything happen to me, I feel confident that I'd be able to defend myself with it. Now SIG has gone and done something a little silly. They've taken something that was maybe not as sexy and not as fun and made it everything that it should be. The X Macro is everything that you would dream in having an everyday carry. Now before I dive into the shooting experience and all the pros and cons of this gun, I actually presented this gun to the range owner at where we were shooting at just to get his thoughts on it. What I had him do was take my P365 XL and shoot these guns side by side to see if there was an appreciable difference between the two, and this is what he had to say.
This definitely has less recoil, and it's a fun gun to shoot. I want to shoot it again. Very manageable, and again, accurate as well. I can absolutely carry this gun and be very pleased with it.
It's really interesting to see his perspective on this gun because I agree with everything he said. This is a gun you want to shoot more, and the reason for that is the shooting experience is none like you would expect. Now with the P365 XL, the ergos weren't perfect for me, and so I wanted to make those adjustments, and I did that by installing a Wilson Combat grip module, which is a palm swell form, and it fits very well in my hands. Now at this point, investing that little extra $80 has gone a long way for me and my confidence in this gun. Now I know when I go to this gun, should I need it, that I'll feel confident and it'll fit well in my hands. Now I had to work at that. But SIG, on the other hand, improved that with their new grip module. Now, I want to be very clear in saying that this is a P365 fire control unit, but this portion of it is their new grip module. And what's beautiful about it is that for a guy with large hands such as myself, they've actually made the back strap to where you can pull those in and out and adjust it as you need. But what's great about that is now I have the ideal grip from the factory. And because it's a tad longer, the form fit is actually better than my Wilson Combat grip module on my other gun. And that's the biggest thing you see right off the bat with the first impression of this gun. The other thing I noticed particularly with this gun is that SIG actually kept the iron sights mounted on here for coat witnessing. Now what's interesting is that the Romeo Zero that I have on my gun, and as well as that's on this gun, has, for better lack of words, a set of nub plastic rear sights. What's neat about this is SIG decided to keep it with this slide setup. And so now you have the option of actually seeing through a good set of sights in the rear. So if you're going to co-witness with it and this dot doesn't work for whatever reason, you do feel confident that you actually have a fair amount of solid sights to look through. So let's talk about what is it like to shoot. Now, what's interesting is I got to spend some time with David on this gun at the range, and interestingly enough, he had the 365 Spectre Comp as well as the AXG Scorpion, so I can have the opportunity to see what it's like side by side. The shooting experience is much different between the three. And the one I want to talk about first is the AXG Scorpion. Now, what's great about the AXG Scorpion is the ergos on that are just ideal. And what you get from that is confidence when you start to engage immediately with that gun. That's something they actually took over from a thought in terms of ergos and integrated into this grip module. And so I actually have the same confidence gripping it, and I have a fairly solid grip because the ergos are ideal for me. I'll hold off on the shooting experience versus that because it's worth talking about the Spectre Comp. The mechanics of the two guns are similar. The Spectre Comp has the same slide, meaning that there's a 3-inch barrel with an integrated comp on it, and as well as the fire control unit is identical with the exception of a gold trigger. Now, you would think that the shooting experience is largely enveloped around the comp, and this is where it gets interesting. When you shoot the guns back to back, you will notice immediately that the X Macro feels much softer to shoot. And it blew my mind because I was not expecting that. And I would have to attribute that to the fact that now you have ideal grip on the gun with the new module. As you're shooting it, what you'll notice is that the return to zero is the same and immediate, but the recoil impulse is what sticks out to me. It is much softer with the X Macro. I think that's attributed largely to the ideal ergos and the better grip that I have with this gun, so it doesn't feel as snappy in my hands. It has more in common with the AXG Scorpion than it does any compact gun I've ever shot. In fact, I think this gun is much more pleasant to shoot than the AXG Scorpion. The one thing that we did do is get a chance to put Plus P ammo through it. Plus P really does pull out the deficiencies of the gun. Now in this case, because we have an integrated comp, it actually makes it better, largely because you have the extra gases escaping through the top and pushing the muzzle down. And the net result with that is the gun actually shoots much flatter and just as soft. So when you carry these defensive rounds, you can feel confident that this gun is going to do exactly what you want it to do. It's going to have the penetrating power without the compromise of the shooting experience. So I really want to touch out on the things that don't really excite me about it. In general, all these module guns, the 320 and the 365, I'm not a fan of the trigger. Because when they come to you, the pre-travel is fairly firm and it goes right into a wall with a noticeable amount of gritty creep. Now, once you start to break that in, that does start to smooth out and feel a lot better. The first impression of a SIG trigger has never been my favorite, but after owning one and knowing how they operate, it is worth noting that you should expect to invest some time in shooting it. Now, with that said, that's what makes this gun interesting, is that it is fun to shoot. The one thing particularly also with this gun too that you might want to think about is the integrated comp. Now for the comp to work well, it has to be thoroughly cleaned. And if you're used to carrying your carry gun and very rarely cleaning it and expecting it to be low maintenance, you are going to have to do just an extra step of cleaning this comp regularly. Because if you don't, what that ends up doing is sacrificing some of the performance that you've come to love from this gun. So if you end up owning this, do plan to clean the comp regularly. Now, one other thing that was interesting is when I actually saw the Spectre comp for the first time, I was told that it has the same footprint as the P365 XL. And the benefit of that is the fact that I can use the same holster. That's not the case with the X Macro, largely because you have a larger dust frame out front than you do with either the XL or the Spectre comp. Overall, how I feel about it is as soon as it's available, I'm going to be ordering the slide and barrel unit as well as the grip module because I love it. Why I love it is it behaves more like a big heavy competition gun more than it does a compact gun. And that's something I would want to carry every day. And also because it's so fun to shoot, it encourages me to go out and practice with it. For you to pick this gun up complete as is, it's going to cost you about $799. That's about $200 more than the 365 XL. And you know what? It's worth every single penny.
You get 17 rounds, you get a full-size grip, and you get the comp. Everything about it is great, and I think this is the future of everyday carry.
I can tell you right now, once people start shooting these things are going to fly off the shelf. So if you have your eye on one and you see one, I highly recommend you grab it fast because it is that good. And that's the P365 X Macro. If you like this video, hit that like button. I'll be coming out with more gun content here in the near future, as well as additional reviews and other fun things for competition related. So hit that subscribe button so that way you get the freshest stuff out. Now with that said, I'm gonna take this out one last time while I still have it, and I'm gonna have me some fun. Until then, we'll see you at the range.